If you want to remove the bad part of coffee, you decaffeinate. If you want to remove the offending aroma from a room, you deodorize. And if you want to give the award issued by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences to a more deserving recipient, you must DeOscarize the current holder.
Sisters, sisters, there were never such devoted sisters.
Recent events have brought to my attention the fact that two-time Academy Award winner Olivia de Havilland is still alive. Born in 1916, she is 97 going on 98. I thought that was pretty interesting. What is even more interesting is the event that brought Ms. de Havilland to my attention, and that was the death in 2013 of her 96-year-old sister, Academy Award winner JOAN FONTAINE, born in 1917. I also discovered that these sisters did not get along. In fact, it is the greatest example of sibling rivalry to have ever been seen in the movie community.
Lord help the mister who comes between me and my sister, and Lord help the sister who comes between me and my man.
There was tension between Olivia de Havilland and her sister JOAN FONTAINE, and that tension's beginnings began with their name. Like, how come if they're sisters, they don't appear with the same names? Olivia got to use the family name de Havilland, and when JOAN wanted to try for an acting career like her sister, her mother forbade her the de Havilland name, which forced JOAN de Havilland to eventually become JOAN FONTAINE, a name created for her by her new studio, RKO. So, that plus, no doubt, the number of incidents accumulated in normal sibling relations created a mom always liked you best kind of bitterness in JOAN that spilled over into their careers. One piece of bitterness begat another piece of bitterness on the other side, and so on, and now the real rivalry begins. Olivia gets nominated in 1939 Best Supporting Actress for her performance in Gone with the Wind, but she loses to Hattie McDaniel, who, according to the rules of DeOscarize.com, can never be deoscarized.
It is with the knowledge that this entire nation will stand and salute the presentation of this plaque that I present the Academy Award for the best performance of an actress in supporting roles during 1939 to Hattie McDaniel.
Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Science, fellow members of the motion picture industry, and honored guests. This is one of the happiest moments of my life, and I want to thank each one of you who had a part in selecting me for one of the awards. For your kindness, it has made me feel very, very humble, and I shall always hold it as a beacon for anything that I may be able to do in the future. I sincerely hope I shall always be a credit to my race and to the motion picture industry. My heart is too full to tell you just how I feel. And may I say thank you, and God bless you.
Then, JOAN gets her first Academy Award nomination for her very first starring role in Rebecca. She loses to Ginger Rogers, who won for Kitty Foyle in 1940.
I'm going to have this baby. I'll call him Tom Foyle after my pop. He'll grow up to be proud of that name. I'm proud of his mother. And by Judas Priest, he'll be a fighter, too. Hard as a pine knot. Tom Foyle, the toughest kid in the block.
Then in 1941, sisters Olivia de Havilland and JOAN FONTAINE are both nominated in the same category, Best Actress. JOAN for her performance in Suspicion, again a film by Hitchcock, and Olivia is nominated for her performance in Hold Back the Dawn. JOAN was the first in the de Havilland family to get an Academy Award, a bit of just desserts on JOAN's part. but she couldn't be gracious in victory, because apparently on her walk to get her award, Joan snubbed Olivia's public effort to congratulate her on winning. And that got the Hollywood community on Olivia's side, and Joan Fontaine never got nominated again. And sure enough, next chance the Academy gets, a Best Actress nomination comes to Olivia de Havilland in 1946, and Olivia de Havilland wins an Academy Award as Best Actress for her performance of a rather mediocre role in a rather mediocre movie called To Each His Own. As you can see, there were some other very strong nominees, a couple of whom gave performances that still sizzle 70 years later, to this day, while Miss de Havilland's movie fizzled long ago. But how sad that these vibrant performances went unrewarded, except for Jennifer Jones. I'm afraid she's guilty of some of the worst overacting on film in Duel in the Sun. Not her fault, bad direction, difficult life experiences at the time. A performance that was nominated but was overlooked by the Academy deserves a second look now, 70 years later, because it still has a lot of juice. I am speaking of Jane Wyman's stunning performance as Ora Baxter in The Yearling. This caught the Hollywood community by surprise. That's why it's stunning. Jane Wyman had been known for her light comedies with a touch of sex appeal. Suddenly, she becomes this plain, hard Ora Baxter. Quite a departure, and her performance deserves further consideration some 70 years later. Check out the film, and good news to some of you, it's in color.
Come on in and get your victuals, you two, for this pone steams off to nothing.
I just love a baby fox or a baby panther.
Jody.
But, Ma, I just gotta have me something for a pet. We got milk aplenty.
Milk aplenty, they ain't extra drop from sun to sun.
It could have mine.
And don't tell me again it can have yours. You're spindly enough as it is. How do you think we spare rations to some critter, whereas all we can do is keep our own bellies full? Going on 12 and still wanting some kind of a play dolly. Why, your pa was doing his man's share of work time he was your age. Now you finish your victuals and get to bed.
You get mighty hard on a boy at times, Ori.
Well, then let him tend to work.
Don't be afraid to love the boy, Ori.
Let's get finished here and get some sleep.
One other thing. I don't think Olivia de Havilland would object too much about being DeOscarized for To Each His Own, provided she gets to keep the Academy Award she so richly deserved for her performance in The Heiress. Come to DeOscarize.com and support or challenge my decision to DeOscarize Olivia de Havilland and declare Jane Wyman the new Best Actress of 1946 for her performance in The Yearling. Just one more little bit of payback for Joan Fontaine. May she rest in peace. And to Ms. de Havilland, 5-time Academy Award nominee, 2-time Academy Award winner, and once DeOscarized, you go, girl.
She says she's coming. I don't know why she's coming, but she's a-coming.
You don't like me, Mammy. Now, don't you argue with me. You don't. You really don't.